live and in effect.
Woo!
Yeah.
I don't know about in effect, but
Listen. Don't be shitting on my parade, sir. Don't you do that. You just got it live here too. No, sir, you will not. You will not do that in front of the guests.
thought you'd do the intro. How about that?
What? How about you hush? Welcome back for another week, another Wednesday of the talking video games in the middle of the week. Why? Because we are nerds, and this is Get Nerdy with me. I am your host, the Hammer.
I'm your boy Snake.
I'm Mingo B. Can't see me because I'm a little screen on the TV.
Yeah, I mean you're already little enough.
I knew this was a thing, and I knew this was gonna happen.
And I knew it was gonna happen.
Like
it doesn't always happen.
Yeah, often. It happens every time. It happens every time. It 100% happens every time.
I'm not going to talk much because I don't want to cough and everybody's.
Anyway, so like I said before, welcome back. We're gonna spend a little time again today talking video games. We got some good stuff to talk about. Got a little stream going on, screen action up there. You know, Snake playing a little Dragon Ball, and there's a reason why he's playing Xenoverse 2. Because Friday, November 5th.
November 5th.
New DLC finally dropping. They've been talking about it for months. It's finally coming to fruition. It's finally a thing. We're getting the DLC. And just a day ago, they announced a fourth character that we are getting for this DLC. And I was conflicted about the DLC until this character was announced, and now I'm excited because this character was announced. Because I felt like you shouldn't have one without the other, especially since we have the fused version of these two. But Kale is added to the DLC, and consider them added. And it's the dope like Broly version of Kale, like Super Saiyan 2. So if you watch Super, she did that. She turned like that, and she got really big and muscular. And this was before they fused and became Khalifa or Kefla. But she's going to be in the game along with Khalifa, and we're getting base. In case you didn't know, you're getting base Gogeta and full power Jiren, but it's like I think it's a different full power. They call it full power Jiren. Those are the 4 characters that we're getting in the game. Also adds more ultimate moves that could be put to CACs. It adds characters, a bunch of new raids. Like the fact that they added her to complete this DLC made it 100% worth it. It makes me excited. Like I said, the paid version or paid part of the DLC drops on the 5th. The free part, because there is always a free part, which usually includes some parallel quests and stuff, it usually drops the day before. So it's Wednesday, so tomorrow we should have, part of the DLC, the free part of the DLC that is coming. They also announced in the trailer, this is kind of a little bit demoralizing for people that want a new Xenoverse, but they've already announced at the end of the trailer for this one, and the reveal of Kale, that there will be more DLC in 2022. So no Xenoverse 3 yet. Unfortunately, I'm one of the ones that I want a Xenoverse 3. But looks like they're going to continue to add stuff to Xenoverse. So hey, there's tons to add. So who's to say? We've had the Broly story. There's stuff that they can elaborate on that. There's if some of the manga that we talk about on Snake Show is already on TV, we might possibly be able to look at some of that, but it's not on TV yet, so more than likely it's not going to be in the game. But with Few being a part of this, and he's a part of this story that they're fixing to release right now, and with Few, there's tons of things they can do. I'm still crossing my fingers for a Super Saiyan 4 transformation at some point in the cycle of this game. This game has been out forever. If you're not going to give me Xenoverse 3, please let me get Super Saiyan 4. Like, just let me have it. It's needed. I don't want a costume. I want the actual transformation with the actual buffs and benefits of being Super Saiyan 4. Please just add it in the game. If you're watching this, developers, add it. Mingo.
I have two things. I have a theory and a question. So the theory is, I'm probably said this before, but I believe they're going to release Xenoverse 3 whenever, as you kind of alluded to it, whenever they decide to bring back Super. Whenever they decide to bring back Super, like later on, whether it be 2023, 2024, when all that happens, and of course, when Xbox and PlayStation sales are actually for the consumers or whatever, and everybody's able to get it, and everything is starting to stream. Stream. That's what we're doing right now. Then I think that's when they're going to announce a Xenoverse 3, because it'll make more sense. Super will be out, or either it'll be finished as far as that season. Then they'll say, hey, Xenoverse, that season's out. Here we go. Finally, Xenoverse 3. That's my theory, because it will make a lot more sense. They'll be starting the Marvel arc and all this other stuff. It will make the most sense. And then they'll probably have another Super movie and other things like that. It will make the most sense whenever they do it, to do it then. You know what I'm saying? That would be my theory. If then it'll be right then, or at least a season after. But it would definitely be around that time. It would make the most sense. Otherwise, it'll be kind of like, then it'll kind of be going to the DC Universe thing, where it's just kind of just going, and then after a while, you with PlayStation 7 territory, and then it's like, what's going on here? But that's my theory. Question I want to know, which is only because I haven't played it in a while, so have they released any other characters from the GT era or whatever? Because if they haven't, then we might be a ways out for Super Saiyan 4.
No.
Because then that might be a thing. Yeah.
No. Broly wasn't part of GT, because Broly was originally in the game.
No. The Broly one was his own movie.
That's right.
The only ones that they have GT is like Future, or they have Pan, Kid Goku,
Baby is, yeah.
Okay, well, I mean, there you go. If they've done them, then that's hopeful. It's very hopeful. Okay, that's what I was wondering. I was thinking that if they haven't released anything from GT, then that means that we're probably ways, or we're never going to get it. Probably, you know what I mean?
You know what? That is an interesting theory, because hey, where before I elaborate on that, Tapion, where does Tapion fall?
Tapion was a movie.
Okay, so it's his own thing. Okay, anyway. I always forget that. I noticed him on my screen, that's why I decided to ask. So the theory that you had actually does make sense. I did not think about that. If they hold off until they finally get the movie ready, or get the next part of Super ready, which would, I guess, technically be the Morrow arc, I guess, then they would be able to start, like, they would give reason to have a new game. They're always going to go back and like hit on, because with the whole story of the time nest and somebody's always altering time, they always go back to like early Dragon Ball Z, where Piccolo and Goku are still fighting. Vegeta's just now coming to Earth. Like, they always revisit that, like, every time. I don't know that I need them to revisit that every time, but they're gonna do it. I mean, there were some things that it leads up to some iconic parts of the show itself. Namely, like, I don't think you can skip the Frieza act, because that's the first time we see Super Saiyan. So you kind of have to have Frieza act. I feel like you have to have it. I think you have to have part of the Cell act, because that's where you get badass Gohan. You get badass Team Gohan, like Super Saiyan, Super Saiyan 2 badass Gohan. So you gotta kind of have that. Anything with a fusion, I guess you kind of need to have in there too.
Yeah.
You need to visit all of the stuff that has to do with fusion.
I mean, they could take a page out of Snake's book, and do like a multiverse type, Marvel type DC thing. So instead of instead of we are getting nerdy Gohan, we get like Gohan, what happens if he fully transform into that completely, this ultimate amazing, or what happened if Vegeta killed Frieza like when he was a kid and then he became Frieza or whatever and ended up fighting Goku on Namek, you know, stuff like that. Or they can make it to where Vegeta went to Earth, he married Bulma, you know, something they can like play around with that type of stuff. That'd be dope. I would love to see all those types of things. That'd be dope.
That would be interesting. Like now, those would be some different time. Like you talking about exploring different timelines. That would be
timelines, yeah, all that. Cause that's what, you know, all that type of stuff. Yeah, universe timelines, stuff like that.
That is a good question. Like, you know, what happens if, you know, Vegeta kills? You know, what if he does kill Frieza and there's no Frieza to come to Namek and cause all the problems? But now you got Vegeta, who never ever ends up having to come to Earth to try to fight Goku. I guess. I mean. He was coming to
you
the
can play around with that,
anyway, but you know, would he be at that point of trying to destroy that planet, or would he be on his way to Namek to try to do what Frieza was going to do? You know, that's what happened to Black. You know, if he kills Frieza, you know, is his dad technically still in control by then? I mean,
right?
He has lived like what seems to be forever. I mean, they're hundreds of years old, so it's not like. I mean, they got to be. I mean, how long? I mean, if you really look at how long Goku and them been around, and you start really thinking about it, like they don't age like people. So I mean, if the planet isn't, you know, destroyed, then all those Saiyans are still, they exist. Bardock exists. That changes a lot.
Yeah, like you can play with any of that. I would like to see that. I would like to see those types of things in the game.
I think that would actually be pretty dope.
It'll give you something to do as far as quests and stories.
Apparently my game audio was too loud.
Yeah, Henry got on. Appreciate you, E. Appreciate that. Sorry. Because I got my phone turned down, so I can't really hear the audio. But yeah, that would be interesting. But I think you're right in your theory. I think maybe they're waiting for the right time. Like maybe whenever one of the new arcs and one of the new stories starts, maybe they're going to produce the right movie. Then they're like, okay, well, let's release the game and we can include this stuff from this movie, and we'll do DLCs from this point on for any other parts of Dragon Ball that they, you know.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, stuck.
TikTok.
Uh-oh. Hammer. Uh-oh, he got stuck hard.
Do something like you're frozen. Do something like you're frozen. Too. You're not frozen. You gotta be frozen too.
I'm not moving. Frozen. What are you talking about?
I'm not moving.
Ah, he dropped. We are so sorry. Ray, he liked the thing though. I saw that he liked on the thing. He should jump back in pretty soon. But what? Anyway, what did you think about what he was saying?
I think it'd be, well, based off that, I think it would be good. I like the fact that now, like you said, that that they have the that they have that DLC with that they completed it with the transformation with Kel, and you know, with the Khalifa transformation. I like how they have that, and I think that's dope.
I was telling Hammer about the transformations and stuff that I think they should do is that they should give us the ability to have a legendary transformation like Broly. So like our custom characters could transform into like a Broly transform.
So that's not you can't add that into like one of your so that's not even a thing.
Yeah, they got all the other transformations. They got all the
what's that one?
All Super Saiyans, Super Saiyan Blue, God. Well, we got we're getting God now.
Yeah, Super Saiyan. Yeah, what Super Saiyan 1, 2, Super Saiyan, like
3.
Super Vegeta.
You got Super Saiyan 3. You got Super Saiyan Vegeta, Super Vegeta, Future Super Saiyan.
Is Super Saiyan 3?
Yeah.
Oh, it's within. If you have Super Saiyan, it's within
Yeah,
that, right?
yeah. It's one of the things. Like depending on how much power you have, you can turn it into.
How much key you have, you can turn to which one. Yeah, that's right. Super Vegeta's better anyway. But I apologize for that. My Zoom just decided it was gonna log out. I don't know why.
Future Super Saiyan, Super Saiyan Blue Evolved. They're just adding the Super Saiyan God, which is before Blue, but whatever.
I think it's gonna be a little OP the way they're describing how it's gonna work. I think.
Like I want a custom Super Saiyan 4. Like I want to be able to have my character go to Super Saiyan 4.
Yeah.
They have the costume to where you can make it look like a Super Saiyan 4, but it's not the actual Super Saiyan 4 transformation.
True.
So you know what would be dope? What would be dope, nerdy fans, Emery and everybody else is watching, if y'all could, let's Snyder cut the Xenoverse and everybody, write in and, whatever y'all have to do on the game on Xbox Game Pass and everybody type in hashtag Super Saiyan 4. I don't know, whatever y'all figure out, do that and it might happen. Maybe they're waiting on like a big hashtag Super Saiyan 4 type thing to happen. And then when it goes viral, then they'll just put it in the game because they have no choice. That's how things work nowadays, right?
Interestingly enough.
That's how things work, apparently.
The Xenoverse on PC, there's a lot of people that mod that. And they come up with some really dope mods. One day, I wish if I'd have thought about it, I would have had Snake like pull up some of those videos where you can watch people that have modded Xenoverse on their PC. And they mod in different characters, like characters that aren't in the game. They'll mod them in. They, transformations. They've modded transformations. I saw a Super Saiyan 4, like it was a mod for PC, but I saw a guy that made his character be able to transform into Super Saiyan 4. And it was cool as shit. It was something he did, so it wasn't a legit game like you can just, like we're playing on console, but it looked cool as shit. Tail moved and everything. That's one thing about the costume. Tail don't move. It's just like stagnant. It looks stupid. It looks more like stuck up there or something. It doesn't look like the tail. But the guy made it and tail moved and everything. It was actually pretty dope. Some of those guys that do that stuff like that, if they're able to mod the game and do all that, you think Bandai and them with Bandai Dimps, what I need you to do, talk to them like, hey, why don't you come in and help us out with this character or with this transformation or whatever it is. Like, you have the ability to sit here, take our code, add in what you want, and make it work. If you're intelligent enough to do that, I feel like you should reach out to those kind of people and say, hey, everybody's clamoring for this. Show us how you did this. And then let them do it. Why not? That, to me, that's a sign of intelligence. You find people that are hacking your shit, and you say, I tell you what, I'll pay you X amount of dollars to quit illegally doing shit and just come over here and just make it, and we'll sell it and we'll pay you for it.
Yep.
That makes total sense to me. I forget what company that was that they were doing it. They hired a guy that had figured out all this shit. And instead of like having him arrested, they hired him. It was like, shit, man, here, you want a job? You get a job. Like, you're smart.
Exactly.
So, to me, that would be the thing to do. But I'm still excited about the DLC. I think things gonna be dope. 4 characters and 1 DLC, I think makes it worth it. The fact that it's KO, I don't feel like it's stupid now because we're getting Khalifa but no KO, and we have Kefla. Like, it just felt dumb. They're also going to do another hero vote. I meant to tell you that earlier, Snake. They're doing another hero vote, even though they haven't added hero. That's pretty much it. Like, even though they didn't add anything from the first vote, they're doing another vote. So that's a thing. The new raids are coming. Of course, they do raids every time they add DLC. New parallel quest, new skills for the CACs. Like I said, costumes. There was one other thing that they had talked about that was going to be added to the game, and I cannot think right now. But there's just a lot of stuff, and it's going to be pretty good. So look out for that Friday paid version. Tomorrow, Thursday, free part. You get the free part, you can start doing a few things in the game as of tomorrow, or I think it actually hits like 1 o'clock here in the morning. So you could technically, if you're up 1 o'clock and you want to turn it on, turn it on. You should be able to see the free content. And then now, real quick, because this is gonna be real quick. I'm not gonna spend a lot of time on it because we spend a lot of time on Xenoverse. Rockstar. I know everybody's heard. Everybody's been there's been a mixed bag of opinions about it, but Rockstar, as of today, as of the 11th, not today, as of the 11th, the remaster and re-release of San Andreas will be available. For Xbox, it's going to be on the pass, so you'll be able to get on there and download it and play it. Got the pass. I do believe it's coming on PlayStation as well, but it's going to be available to play the remaster of San Andreas.
How does it look? I haven't seen it.
Supposedly they're updating the graphics. I haven't seen a lot of visual, but supposedly they're supposed to do a graphical update and try to make it look a little smoother. Should run a little smooth. It should run smoother because the game is 2 consoles ago.
Yeah.
Now, so it should run smoother. If you can make GTA Online run like you make it run, you should be able to make that one, which was absolutely not meant for anything new. That's the coding is way different, and way less stuff in there. It should run like a dream on new systems. So there is that. But it'll be available on the pass. Unfortunately, sorry PC players, it will not be available on PC. It's not available. They said they're not going to make it available for PC anytime soon. Doesn't mean never, but they said anytime soon, no PC. So it's strictly console. I know there's going to be some people that are upset, but it's strictly console. And if you want to, take a little bit before GTA 6 comes out, you want to take a little time and take a stroll down memory lane, San Andreas, you have the ability to do that. Now, Kaiser brought up a good point, and I tend to agree with him. I feel like I'm a little bit slighted in this because I feel like the effort could have been put into adding meaningful content to Red Dead 2. I'm just saying.
Ooh, here we go.
No, because you know what? We haven't had any meaningful content for Red Dead 2 since it's been out. Yeah, they added these different little things, but they're kind of meh. And that game has so much potential. They had the blueprint for Red Dead 2. They had the blueprint for that in GTA Online, 100%. The online part of GTA was the blueprint for what Red Dead Online should be right now. Minus cars and stuff. Obviously, there was no cars back then like that. That your horses and whatnot. But the ability to own property, the heist should be totally different. Just there's tons of different things. The jobs, like everything, should be. They had a blueprint and they didn't follow it. And I feel like them putting the effort into making San Andreas come out as a re-release could have been put into adding meaningful content into Red Dead 2. That's my opinion.
I agree.
Some other people, and I feel like either there's something wrong and they can't figure out how to add more to it the right way, or they're just purposely neglecting it for now. I don't know.
I'm gonna go with the second, more or less, and only because now I'm not saying that it isn't hard
they just don't care
to code. I'm not saying that it isn't hard to code. I'm not saying that they probably didn't run into any complications. But I tend to agree with Snake and you and say they don't care in the sense that I think it's one of those just a favoritism thing. They're thinking, you know what? We came into a hiccup with Red Dead probably years ago, and we probably can fix it now, but we're making money with GTA, so who cares? And then I think that's kind of how it just continues going. It's like when you have a broken car or, your car's insurance is out and you just leave it, and then you could go get it and try to rebuild the engine of the car and do all this other stuff. You kind of just stop caring and just keep sitting and get worse and worse, and you just keep looking at it like, maybe I should fix it. Nah. I was gonna do this. Maybe I should. Yeah. And I think it's what keeps happening. It's like that's what's going on. It's like the more that they don't mess with it, the more they won't mess with it. That's what it seems like is happening here. I'm sure there's a fix. I'm sure they could, but it's like the more that they don't. Now that's probably one of the games they probably should. You should Snyder cut that one for real. That's one of the ones everybody should get on there online and like we threaten to end y'all if y'all don't fix this game. We're gonna not buy any more of your games on Game Pass. I don't know, whatever, stuff like that.
And there was rumors, and me and Kaiser were talking about that the other night. I think there was rumors of them possibly doing a Red Dead remaster, the first one, Red Dead Redemption. And again, I feel like that's effort that could be put into DLC for the new game. But I'm conflicted though because it's hard for me to not want to sit back and play a little bit of original Red Dead. Who doesn't like John Marston, man? Anybody that played that game and the story in that game, freaking crazy. And, my guy, everybody's played that game. My guy at the end, knowing he's gonna die, just stepping out the barn and just like, you know what? Hell with it. I'm gonna die. I'm taking as many of y'all with me as I can, and you just like goes out. Like the story was epic, but it's still.
What's the time gap between Red Dead 1 and 2?
So Red Dead 1 technically happens after Red Dead 2. Because Arthur was, all that story was before Red Dead 2. Because remember Red Dead 2, the deal was Arthur was a part of that group and John Marston was a part of it, but he was young. And, he was kind of learning. He kind of learned a lot of stuff from Arthur. It's kind of like he was green, man. He was real green. And after the whole thing with Arthur and all of that, that's whenever he got with Dutch and did all the other stuff, and then you had that story.
Right.
So Red Dead 1 is after Red Dead 2.
Okay, well then there is hope. Okay, it's a tiny little bit of hope, but just a tiny. You can throw this at you can throw this at Kaiser and Snake later and bring it up on another, podcast later if you want to talk about it later. But maybe because of the chronological order of things, maybe you do. See, you didn't let me talk. You do a remaster, and then you put out the remaster. Everybody's feeling some sort of way. Then after the remaster, they reveal in the next trailer DLC content, adding this and this and this, and it brings the story of Red Dead 1 to Red Dead Online. It's like an extra thing, and it pushes it. It's a small. I said small. I said very
because you need to know more. Because you need to know more about the timeline. And
we'll see.
Like the DLC,
you just told me the timeline.
No, because the DLC is for us online.
True.
When we're on the timeline for us online is before the beginning of Red Dead 2. So that means it's before Red Dead Redemption 1 too.
I was gonna say,
does that make sense?
Online is a prequel of a prequel.
Yes.
Technically speaking, yes, he's right.
Because everything that's happening online for us is technically before the story of Red Dead 2, which means it's before the Red Dead 1.
Technically speaking, yes.
Oh, well, no wonder why the game is so messed up.
I still feel like they could. There's still stuff they could do. They need to add stuff to the online part. As far as if they wanted to keep just Red Dead, like Red Dead 2, not Red Dead Online, but Red Dead 2, if they wanted to do something with that, I think some DLC to fill in the gap between the two games would be good. I think I would play it because you have the end of Arthur, and then if you played the first Red Dead, you run into, it's John Marston is there. But John Marston is in Red Dead 2. He was in that original group. So if you could get some DLC to cover that gap in between the two games, just that spot to just see exactly what they were doing. Maybe you do the exact heist or the exact robbery that they were trying whenever they got caught and did all this stuff, and then Dutch turned on them and all that. Like, do the exact stuff to understand why John Marston is so pissed off whenever you start playing Red Dead Redemption. Like I think that would be kind of cool as some regular Red Dead 2 DLC. Now the online, like I said, there's tons of stuff they need. I should be able to buy a ranch if I want to have a
People of
ranch
Cotton City, have you
and
been to the
herd
Hero
cattle all
Coliseum
day. I should be able
yet?
to do that.
There you can enjoy
If I
explosive
can rob
ninja
Seven
battles
Eleven
using the
in GTA
state-of-the-art
Online, I
battle
should be able to
simulator.
have a ranch and have cows and sell cows and trade and whatever else I want to do. That should be a thing. And I don't see how come it can't be a thing.
Mix
I
and
really
match
feel like
figures to create your own
I
ultimate
feel like they're
team.
intentionally holding out on purpose. I don't understand why it's that difficult. I feel like there should be
the online part. They have freedom to do whatever because it's not a part of the story.
True.
Like it's before the story, so they should be able to do anything and everything they want to do without.
And Mexico, I need Mexico in the game. Mexico was in the first Red Dead. Why can't I go to Mexico? That's bullcrap. I should be able to go down there. And the big prison. We were so disappointed. I remember me and Snake Kyle started playing Red Dead 2. We were all hyped up. Blah. We were playing, and we get to this one part of the map, and we look across. I remember Snake's like, look at that. Look at that big old building over there. We should go over there. It looks like the prison. That's the prison where it came from. We should just go over there. And then we get in the boat, and we start riding over there. We're like, yep, we're going to go to the damn prison. About halfway there, nope, zap your ass back to the shore. Can't go to the prison. Like, why? Why not? We left the prison. Why can't we not just go over there where it's at? Like, that's ridiculous. Like, it was just... The ball was dropped with Red Dead 2. It was dropped.
Yeah.
I feel like instead of, while I like sometimes reliving the classics, I do. San Andreas was dope. I just feel like it's a misuse of talent and a misuse of time when you could focus all of that time on that you're spending on that and on these other remasters like the original Red Dead, and you could put all of that into effort and time into making DLC for Red Dead Online currently. Just my opinion. But
I wish we knew one of them because then they can come on the show and explain themselves.
Why will y'all not do this? Is there a specific reason? Like any reason. But if you like San Andreas, I like San Andreas. And it's free, and I'm sure I'll download it because it's free. If you like San Andreas, look out for that on the 11th. If you have Game Pass, it's on there, download it. Replay in San Andreas. It had a good story too. Something for you to do. Now, moving on to the final story, and I think something that is a little bit exciting, and I'm curious to see how it's going to play out. Netflix gaming is now in America as of today. Today is the 3rd, and it is a thing. If you have an Android phone or device,
and it's true.
It is on the Android devices. Any Android device. That's the only thing right now. They have said they will be rolling out, iOS and other stuff. I'm sure they're gonna have separate apps that they'll add to TVs. I'm sure at some point, but the TV version won't be too soon because, and here's the one drawback I have about all of it. It does not support standalone, like separate Bluetooth connected controllers. Everything they have is built to work on the touchscreen of the device that you use, whether it be phone, tablet, whatever. It has to be touchscreen, and it works off of that. So, kind of conflicted because I'm like, cool, Netflix jumped in. They're going to start streaming games. Dope. That's awesome. And then you drop the bomb. Oh, but you can't hook a controller up. You got to use the screen. It's like, what? I don't want to tap the screen to play the game. I have a Switch and I don't tap the screen. Okay, it has buttons. It has 2 Joy-Con controllers that are on the side. If I want to play, if I'm holding it in handheld version of Switch, I have buttons. And when it's on the TV, I put the little deals on the controller and I press buttons. I don't press the screen. That's to me, it's not precise at all when you're playing certain games. Not precise at all. I don't like doing that. So a little bit disappointing, like I said, that you don't have support for controllers. I think you kind of need that. I will look and get the list that I saw of actual games. And it was interesting because there was some games that they did look a little interesting. There was one that they highlighted that um I was curious about, but it's exactly what I would expect on a device that has to be touchscreen. So one of the games is Stranger Things. That's going to be one of the games. It's called Stranger Things 1984 and Stranger Things 3, the game. Those are both going to be on there. There's another title called Shooting Hoops, Card Blast, and Teeter Up. So a lot of the original games are... A lot of the games that are coming out with, a lot of them are original. People never heard of them. They're simple games. I'm sure one of them is a card game. The other one's some other version of a game. But they all support touchscreen, which makes sense as to why they're like, well, everything is touchscreen now. For right now, we're not supporting the controllers because you really don't need a controller if you're playing, a card game. You can use the screen. Stranger Things, I bet you, is going to be one of those. I hate to say a turn-based game, but it kind of is where you select a choice and then almost like the Netflix Interactive. Have you seen that, Bingo? The Netflix Interactive thing they have now? Probably a little bit like that, where you just kind of make a choice like this, and then it does your cutscene and it shows all this stuff. I think there's a lot of that. But it is here. It is a thing. And as of today, the 3rd, you can get it. It's available through the Netflix app. And it requires it has its own app, but it requires a Netflix subscription of some kind. So when you log in with your Netflix credentials, but you log into the gaming part of it, basically. So as interesting as it is, I think there's going to be the initial drawbacks, which we already knew. I mean, this is a new thing. This is a new journey for them. This is new territory for them. They've never done anything like this, but they said they wanted to get into the gaming, and they have now jumped in head first. So we'll see how it works. I do want to, before we get out of here, I want to get the opinion of Bingo, because it's kind of his wheelhouse, because it's Netflix, but it's like Netflix gaming. So what do you think?
I think it's to be honest, I think it's smart-ish. And what I mean by that is that they, from what they're doing, I believe that they know their competition. They know that they cannot take on Xbox, the Game Pass. They cannot take on. They seen what happened with Stadia. They're like, let's not take that route. They seen. They know that the new one is coming out. That PC one is coming out, and they're afraid of that because that's going to take a lot of. So they decided to. Yes, Steam did. Yeah, Steam. So I think their plan, at least based off, is we're going to start with the moms and pops and, the casual gamers, the ones who just, the people who always see them on their phone, they're playing phone mobile games. We're going to start with them. We get them, and those people also, they're probably like be on the subway, be on the bus or in the Uber or whatever, probably watching a quick show, a quick Disney show, or not Disney show, but a Netflix show real quick, watching something quick. So they'll probably play a game real quick. So you want to get that audience and get a bunch of them, make that audience bigger and bigger, when people constantly want to do more and more with games. And then you ask them, hey, what do you want next? And some of them say, hey, can we get this type of game, that type of game? Then you start rolling out with, I don't know, stuff that looks like more Mario type games, stuff that looks like Sonic. Then you roll out with, oh, okay, how about stuff that looks like, those NES games, I don't know, Maximum Carnage, or, oh, what? You want to play a 007 game? Oh, guess what? We now support controllers. Oh, guess what? 4 or 5 years later, we can go up against Xbox. Now we have the people behind us, to where now we can put the games out because of the money that's coming in. So I think that's their plan. I don't know if it'll work, because they will have to keep the momentum. They will have to keep the games coming, and they will have to make sure that Google, Android, and Apple and everybody else don't say, hey, well, y'all taking too much revenue from our our apps that have games and stuff like that. So we don't like that. So blah blah blah, this and that. So I don't know. I think that's their plan. I'm excited. So I'm excited honestly because I think that's an ambitious plan. I want to see more competition. I want to see Google get back into it and do a little more with the Stadia. Honestly, I think they kind of gave up a little bit, probably pressure from government officials or whatnot. And then I know Apple's supposed to jump into the game soon. But yeah, I think that's their initial plan. Everybody, Hammer will be joining us in a second. We kind of tapped out there, but here he is right here. But yeah, but I do believe that's their plan, to play the long game per se. You know what I'm saying? I hope it works because I want to see more competition. I would like to log in. I would like to log in on my Roku TV or whatever, a Fire Stick, and then see video game stuff, whatever. But at the same time, I don't want it to get like how streaming is, to where Disney has a video game system, HBO has a video game system, and then now I gotta decide which ones I want to buy. I don't want that. That's too much. Now we already got an Xbox, we already got PCs and Steams and all that. We don't need thousands of computer different. We don't need that many. I don't want to have to decide. Hey, bro, did you buy the HBO video game? Nah, bro, I bought the Disney video game. Dang, I don't got that one. Hold on, let me go. And then I don't want all of that. So I think they're playing the long game. I'm excited about it. They just keep it Netflix versus the Xbox and PlayStation and Steam. And that's it. Maybe Stadia. We don't need nothing else. That's my take. But yeah, I think that's what I think they're doing. So
I could agree with that. I turned on I had my phone into the show so I could continue to hear what you were saying, so I didn't miss anything. I heard you. So, but I could agree with all of that you said. That's probably the best thing for them to do. Just kind of stay in their own lane and just pump out whatever games you can pump out for your product. Don't try to. You can compete, but don't get so caught up in trying to compete that you start putting out crap because you're just trying to have more content.
Because look at Krillin. Krillin, he can spar with Goku, but that's about it. He ain't gonna just just beat Goku down because he know better. It ain't gonna happen. Right. So
it's getting to a point where he can't even spar with Goku. So
yeah. And that's why I'm hoping Xbox don't get like that. Cause Phil is he getting a little ahead of himself. Chill out a little bit. PlayStation all day. So.
Hey man, listen. He got his foot on the gas. He ain't letting up. He's like, hey, I'm here to get gamers. I want people to play this thing. I want them to buy this machine. I'm gonna do what I gotta do.
He's sitting in Ultra Instinct right now. He need to chill. Back up a little bit. Relax.
He's on it. He's on it right now. He's on the roll. He is on the roll. No, but that's all I got. I'm gonna try to wrap it up before my computer decides that it wants to log out of Zoom again. I don't know what's going on. Apologies for all of that. We appreciate you, whoever you guys that tuned in. Don't forget to share and thumbs up on YouTube. Like helps the algorithm. We really, 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 really appreciate it if you guys continue to hit that like button. Make sure you share it, share the content, and leave comments on Facebook for sure, and on YouTube. But especially on Facebook, leave comments. We check that stuff. We like the interaction. We tell you all the time we love to talk. And, there may be something that I missed with one of these subjects that we talked about today. You may think that Netflix is nuts for even trying gaming. Put that down in the comment section. Let us know what you really think. Let's start a conversation. Let's talk about it. Because I think it's an interesting thing. We're at an interesting point when it comes to games. And I think there's some really, really good conversations to be had for us. So. But outside of that, I am the Hamel. That is Snake. That's Mingo D. We are Get Nerdy. And we appreciate you for